Okay, Chapter 6, Advanced Skills continues. We're talking a little bit about confrontation and interpretation. So confrontation, while that has a negative connotation oftentimes in just day-to-day life, we think, oh, we don't want to confront people. It is oftentimes very beneficial, and it's useful for it's useful to challenge clients' inconsistencies perhaps in what they're saying in order to help them perhaps change. So sometimes clients' statements can be contradictory. So they may say one thing and then they say something else, and you need to say, okay, I just heard you say this. You said that you really want to change the way that you're talking to your wife, but then you said she should be changing the way she talks to you. So which is it? It needs to be non-threatening, non-judgmental, and non-adversarial. So it is a skill. It is not something where you get in somebody's face and are in any way negative towards them. You want to use it sparingly after a good relationship has already been established. You want to offer confrontation because you care. It's because you are a good person right now with a lot of potential that I feel like it's important to share with you something I have some concerns about. That's the example of confrontation. If somebody is emotionally vulnerable or fragile, you don't want to use confrontation. You want to use it when you've got a good relationship with the client. Think about times when confrontation has been beneficial for you. It's been done when someone who you feel like really cares about you is willing to ask the hard questions. Oftentimes, it is very helpful to do it in the form of a question. So rather than making those declarative statements like we talked about for summarization, you instead are asking. Again, acknowledging inconsistencies. Depending upon their reaction, you may need to say, you know, I must have misunderstood you. So if you need to back down in order to not jeopardize the helping relationship, do so. You don't want to take a hard line out. Now, when we think about confrontation, we tend to think about like CPS and confronting an abusive parent or a neglectful parent. And while CPS workers do have to use confrontation, or actually working with any non-voluntary clients, you have to oftentimes use confrontation. You want to monitor your reaction and how you're doing it. So it should be not something that evokes emotion in you. If so, then you need to step back and take some time. Small confrontations over time is more effective than like, bam, like unloading on somebody. Change takes time, and you want to be sure and use confrontation in conjunction with other helping skills. It is not something that's just used by itself. Another skill in Chapter 6 is interpretation. This is where we go beyond the client's stated problem in order to interpret and find different meaning. If you want to make sure that there's a level of trust, once again, that helping relationship is always imperative before you apply interpretation. You can use it to point out casual connections between behaviors, feelings, and thoughts, and focusing on the client's strengths and potential. Clients are oftentimes emotionally attached to their problem, so it's not necessarily something that you can just change someone's way that they view the world by providing this great insight. It's a little bit like information gathering. You're not the expert. You're simply saying, it seems to me, or it might be, or I wonder if. Those are the kind of statements that you can oftentimes use interpretation with. It should be based on information and not psychoanalysis. You don't want to do this, it seems to me, and based on, and you know, your relationship you have with your mother 35 years ago really has had a negative impact on you. So you want to know if your client's ready to explore deeper issues. You want to know if your interpretation is based on the client's actual message or your biases, because you have feelings about what the client's been saying or about the client, and so you don't want your interpretation to be influenced by that. You want to relate past issues, themes, and patterns that's currently happening in the client's life. For example, you talked a lot about your mom's drinking and the tirades that occurred when she was drunk. Sometimes you felt powerless to say anything and took her verbal abuse instead. I wonder if your behaviors in any way to how you feel about your boss who yells at you without cause could somehow stem back to those early experiences you had. So that's interpretation. Allow enough time to explore the client's reaction. Give them time. Use that skill that we talked about in Chapter 5 of silence. Allow them to kind of think about it and whether or not it fits for them. Kind of try it on for size. If it doesn't, once again, that's okay. Say, okay, well, if that's really not something that you think is important to you, then I totally understand. So the advanced practice skills discussed in Chapter 6 are summarization, information giving, confrontation, and interpretation. Once again, there's lots of good case examples and videos in Chapter 6. I hope you take advantage of those.